understanding of oneself resulted in our some of the great thinkers and saints declaring to us who we really are. And it is not an imagination, it is not just thinking, you thought about it and somebody else will think something else and somebody else will come with another. It was an experience. It was an inner experience. So this inner experience is finally resulted in knowing that human beings are essentially divine. They use the word Atman, Sanskrit word Atman. It means something which cannot be killed, which something cannot be affected by the things of the world, something deep within us. Suppose we are looking at the sun and there is some problem in my eye and I can't see the sun, or I get a bad idea about the light that is coming from the sun. Is the sun affected by that? No. My eyes only are to be blamed for that. Likewise, the divine in us is never affected by the situations in life. Sometimes we may feel, oh, I am very depressed, oh, I am feeling very bad mood, I am feeling very inwardly, a pain is there, I am frustrated, I lost in some exam. Please remember, this is nothing to do with your deepest core. There you are still full of that divine spirit. What it deals with the mind. So, first discovery was the discovery about the inner man, inner human being. And there is no man or woman there. It is just pure inner being. Call it Atman. There is a beautiful Sanskrit verse. I love to recite it. It is from one of the Upanishads. You know, Upanishads are the philosophical side of what discoveries were done. It says, it is from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad. Shunvantu Vishre Amritasya Putra. O you all the children of immortality. Amritasya Putra. Aye dhamani vishwani tastuhu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Varna Tamasa Parastha. I know that divine being that is present in the heart of every human being. It's full of light, full of knowledge, full of undying purity. So that was the first discovery that was made. And then, after that, there were some more discoveries made. When the mind turned within and began to discover what is what, so another discovery was made. What is that? We don't see our divine self because of our restless mind, because of our impure mind. Tada drushtu swarupe avasthanam. It is around 2000 years back, the great Rishi Patanjali said that the purpose of yoga is to develop inner concentration. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. So yoga does not mean, of course, you should not restrict it to only yogasanas. Yogasanas are having a great, remarkable effect on our body. Now it is more and more becoming clearer with a lot of research papers coming out, with a lot of people doing extensive way of studying the yoga. Recently I have been to Hyderabad, and in our ashram we had a function. In that the director of IIT Hyderabad had come, Dr. B.S. Murthy. He said that in IIT Hyderabad they have started a new department. What is that? Indian Heritage, Science and Technology Department. Which means there is an Indian heritage. What is the scientific side of that? Let us study it. They have offered an MSc course in that. There are around 15 professors engaged in that. Like, what is the science behind Ayurveda? There is science behind that. What is the science behind yoga? When the yoga posture is done, suppose you do Surya Namaskaram, you bend yourself. What is the scientific side of it? Likewise, scientific side of Indian music, classical music, of sculptor. When we do the sculpting, you see some beautiful temples and sculptures are there in our country for thousands of years. What is the science behind that? Science behind the language called Sanskrit. What is the science behind it? Say when we say Datavya, Talavya, they are all referring to the group of sounds that are made from, let's say Datavya, that comes from dance, from the Kut. How we have classified different sounds in 4 or 5 categories. Let's see the science of it. There are 5 professors who are doing extensive research on Padani grammar. Which means there is a scientific side to life. So yoga also has got a scientific side. So yoga should not be restricted only to yogasanas. The study of the mind at a deeper level, that is yoga. Swami Vivekananda spoke about 4 yogas. He said Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Raja Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. I'll speak about that short, a few sentences later on. Let's first try to understand. If the mind is restless, we are not able to see our divine self. And the mind is very depressed for something, you wanted to get something you don't get. It could be good marks, it could be house, it could be admission, it could be getting a motorbike, it could be getting passport, it could be marks. Suppose it doesn't happen, the mind becomes morose. Why? Can't we accept that situation, learn from it and try to do better? Instead of becoming morose. Will becoming morose, sad, frustrated, depressed, will it solve the problem of life? Think over it. If I become very depressed, that I had this, I'm only thinking of that negative experience or negative reaction which my mind has given. But I'm not making any progress. It is just like worry, chinta. A person sitting on a chair which is rocking like this. Worry is like a rocking chair which gives you something to do but takes you nowhere. You're sitting there only, moving. So you are worried, you are depressed, you are thinking negatively, you are not making any progress. You are just stuck there itself. So we must learn how to handle different situations in life in a positive, in a wise, and in a very mature way. That is what actually yoga teaches us. So what is the meaning of the term yoga? It means to join. To join. To join what? Join the lower self with the higher self. This kind of understanding of yoga takes us to a new word. And that word is the word of 4 yogas. The 4 yogas. When you do action, karma, it becomes, when you do it in the right spirit of yoga, it becomes karma yoga. When you have, you study, you have analysis with a pure mind of your own self and the world around you, it becomes jnana yoga. Similarly, when you try to meditate, when you try to calm the mind, sit down and close the eyes and try to discover the divinity in you, that is called jnana yoga, raja yoga. And when you put all your emotion to an ultimate reality, call it by different names, whatever name you want to call that reality, that's called bhakti yoga. So 4 yogas are there. And these yogas, when we try to develop in our life, we find that they are of great help in making a complete personality. What is personality? Have you thought over it? What is personality? There is one idea of personality which is very physical. When you look at somebody, we say he is tall, he is hefty, he is beautiful or not so beautiful, he is fair, he is black. But does the human personality mean only that? So we often find that the person with all these physical characteristics may not be really a person whom would you like to interact with or be with him. Because he is full of violence, he is full of negativity, he is very disrespectful, then with all his beauty, you don't want to interact with him. Which means there's a need for some other development, not just physical development. What is that development? Some 40 years, 30 years back, a gentleman in America, he did a research about it. He had his PhD in thesis. So he said, what are the self-help books in India, in the world, especially in America? Self-help book. You know what self-help book? The books by reading which you feel helped. Self-help. It could be like how to speak better, how to do this better. Self-help book. So self-help book, how many books have been published in the last 150 years? He did a PhD on that. We found all these books can be divided into two categories. One type he called it as personality ethics. Another he called as character ethics. What is personality ethics? Personality ethics is which will teach you physical personality. How do you dress yourself? You put a nice tie here. How do you comb your hair? What shoes you wear? How you have basic mannerism. You say thank you when you're offered something. You say sorry when something goes wrong. You open the door very respectfully. All this, dressing up from outside, he called it as personality ethics. But human beings are not just personality ethics. He said that only a person may have all these qualities, but he may be unethical. He may be dishonest. He may be corrupt. He may be very egoistic. He has a dirty personality inside. That should not be done. So he called it the second type, which is called as character ethics. First is personality ethics. Second is character ethics. So what is the character ethics? Where a person inwardly learns to study himself. And he develops some great effective habits in his personality. For instance, he learns how to manage his time well.